Howdy all and welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time to play a little Minecraft. Alright, I need some bone meal here. I've been spent some time collecting some gravel today, so I could we get back to work on the road. I thought about working on the bridge today too, but I haven't taken any time once again to look at bridges to figure out exactly what I want. Man, I've nearly broken my shovel at this point. It's close enough tonight, don't you think? You know what? I'm making a clock. Let's see. I've got sticks. I need a piece of redstone. Oh, I forgot to unload this dirt. I was going to get rid of this dirt earlier. 4 of those, and wherever it is, I've hid my cow hide. If I were cowhide... There you are. Cowhide. Except this time I'm going to remember that it's 8 sticks around a piece of leather and not 8 leather around a piece of stick. Oh, that was... I forget what I was even doing with that. Oh, you know what? I think I put up a clock someplace else. Did I make the clock? No. Let me make a clock. Boom, boom, boom. There. Comes in handy sometimes. Okay, now, I have got... There's some bone meal, some ink sacks. That's a lot of bone meal. Bone meal. Oh, I don't think I got that much gravel. Oh man, gravel's a bit hard to come by. You know, I decided to use this gravel. I hope that's the right color. It's gonna suck if that's the wrong color. What did I just put in here? Man, I really wish regular Minecraft had the auto sort button. Oh, it would make my life so much easier. Yeah, I got the right kind. Yep. So much easier. I don't really have any plans today. I didn't think anything out ahead of time other than grabbing some gravel. I don't actually want to be on this side of the bridge. I want to be on the other side of the bridge. Oop. Alright, because I got to plan out this road. I know we were doing it a little bit last time. So this here... has got to come out probably to there. And then this has got to come out this way. I can't remember. Did I decide I was building a bridge across through here, or... I think we're going to wind up with another bridge across this mess here. Because I think I decided that I was going to wind up with another one out this way. Because the river, although it doesn't have any water in it, but it will. I'll put some water back in it. Won't be that hard. Because the river does come out this way, and I'll need to cross the river at some point. Out this way. Which makes for an interesting fact that this might be a crossroad right here. Oh no, because I wanted to bring the road over here by the farm and then take it this way. So but if this goes this way, it's not going to go very far to end up being a bridge across the river, right? Once I finish getting some landscaping done here. A little bit anyways. So we had our D&D session last night with my Thursday night group, which we only do once every 2 weeks, and I gotta say, I feel like there's not a lot for me to do most sessions. It basically feels like to me that our interactions with NPCs go like this. We decide we're going to go talk to someone, and then when we get there, nobody says anything, and so then I'll say something. And then as soon as I say something, someone else takes over the conversation, and so then there's no point for me even being there at that point. Or conversations go weird, like, do we really need to know about the innkeeper's dead husband in detail? I mean, do we really? Because that was one of the things that got questioned out for quite a while last night. And I just don't... I don't see where that's useful. Especially after we had gone and talked to a guy... Well, this one cracks me up too. One would think that the captain of the guards for a town would have some idea of what was being listed on the bounty board that's near the castle. And every time we go talk to that guy, he has no clue if there's anything on the bounty board or not, and it drives me crazy. I'm like, I feel like we should be talking to that guy because we have a repertoire with him. And I feel like he should be the guy who's sending us out on special missions, not just grabbing whatever's available off the bounty board. But he never knows anything. And last night was the case again. I'm like, you know, hey, Captain, is there anything going on that you need our help? Just wanted to let you know we were back in town, and if you need anything, we're staying at the our normal haunt. Nope, he didn't know anything. And so I didn't know what we were going to do, so I'm like, well, maybe we go check the bounty board then. Although having the captain of the guard tell me there's nothing going on makes me think there's not going to be anything on the bounty board, right? Nope, sure enough, we get there, and there's some issues that we need to go take care of. Bandits. But then, of course, before that was the hour-long shopping session where nothing was purchased almost. And, I don't know, there's just a lot of nothing going on, it feels like. I came back here to fix my shovel. I was trying to remember what I came back here for. My shovel's about to break. Alright, that's better. I want my sword to break so I can switch to this other one, but it doesn't want to. I want to try out that sweeping effect, which is, I believe, more damage on sweeping attacks, which is what I mostly do, so... Although sharpness is just straight up extra damage, so I don't know. I don't know which is even better. I haven't looked into the details of any of that. But, yeah, last week, or not last week, last session, we ended 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, we ended with attacking an orc encampment. 4 weeks ago, we ended, 6 weeks ago we ended with attacking I went too far. An orc encampment, and then we decided that, well, not we. We were told we get a reward, but now they have to argue over how much we're getting every time we go and do a job. And so they demanded to see the council to up the amount of reward we're getting. I mean, let's ignore the fact that my guy last night started with 2,600 gold and nothing to spend it on. And I got heal potions. I got the best armor you can purchase that's regular armor. I've got magic weapons. I bought some goggles that let me see in the dark. I'm pretty much good to go. Yeah, so they had to argue over how much we were going to get. I don't remember what they wound up bumping it up to. It's never a lot, like a couple hundred extra gold or 50 extra gold or something. So it doesn't seem worth the 10, 15 minutes of chatting and dice rolling to bump it up by 50 gold when we could be moving on to do something else that's interesting. Yeah, and then after that, they spent a bunch of time shopping, and then that was it. That was the whole night, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess since we're playing online and my guy's not involved in any of these instances, really, I'm just gonna play games on my phone while I wait for something that I'm involved in to happen. And yeah, last night's session was a lot like that too. We started off with shopping again because we went to a different city. And I can't remember if we had a fight between cities last week or not, honestly. We may have. It's doubtful. We don't always, so... Which is the part I enjoy, is the combat, because at least there things are turn-based, and I get my own turn to do things on. Whereas, like, in town... So... I tried to play my character like my character is designed, right? And this has irritated me a little bit. So I've got my character, and he's a soldier. And, well, he's an ex-soldier. He's a retired soldier turned mercenary. And I didn't go with any big epic backstories or anything like that. He just served his time in the military, decided civilian life wasn't for him, and hooked up with a military company that's traveled around his homeland fighting for various noblemen who needed extra help. That was his backstory. And so I figured that a guy like that, when we need information, would go and talk to guards. And so that was my thing for about 4 sessions. We'd get to a town, and I would go talk to the guards and see what the guards knew. And And then we got to our third city, and when we got to our third city, the guy playing the gnome wizard decided it was his job to talk to the guards for information now. And so I haven't talked to guards for information since. Because he immediately goes and talks to the guards for information. He's also the one who went to go shopping, and when the DM asked what everybody else was doing, I said, well, I want to talk to the bartender and see if he's got information, since I was staying at the bar. And the gnome wizard is like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to talk to the bartender before I leave. Okay, so then he talked to the bartender and questioned the bartender down for information before he left on his shopping trip. I'm like, okay, well, there was the next thing I was going to do. Because you figure your bartender at least knows rumors of what's going on around town. And so now there's no point in me even talking to people, honestly, because someone else always butts in as soon as I start to try and talk to someone to question them for information. And when I do try to do things that aren't what they want to do, I get questioned down about it. Like, we've made a lot of money. Like I said, I started the night with over 2,500 gold. And so I was like, my family background are kind of merchants. And I didn't want to be, that's why he's in the military, because he didn't want to be a merchant guard. Because that's what he grew up around, but he does like fighting, which is why he's a fighter. And so I'm like, oh, it'd be interesting to me is if I were to maybe see if the bartender or the inn owner where we stay would let me invest in his inn and make myself a partner in the city that we spend most of our time in. And immediately one of the other guys is like, why are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know, because I want to invest in this bar and become a partner in this inn. And well, what are you getting out of it? Well, what do you get out of all the crap that you do every week that we gotta wait around for? Yeah, I wasn't even allowed to do that without 100 questions from the other people. And it only took like 5 minutes, and it didn't go the way I wanted, because I assumed that a guy who owns an inn would at least have some idea what's going on, but no, suddenly our bartender could barely speak and couldn't read or write. The bartender / inn owner. And so I couldn't even have a conversation about making myself a partner in the inn. So then I had to hunt down other people. I figured the stable boy must be smarter than the innkeeper, and question him down to see if he'd be able to find us someone to run the finances and maybe get some live music or something like that, to interact with the world a little more than I'm going to sit here and wait until our next fight like I've been doing for weeks. Yeah, so after we do all that, and it takes we played for close to 3 hours, and I did that. I talked to the guard captain for 5 seconds. We looked at the bounty board, and then okay, I think I'm gonna fill this in here, which should be fine because I got access to all this dirt. But yeah, then we went and checked the bounty board, and then after that, Um, I mean, that was it. That was all I did from that point until we camped for the night. And when we camped for the night, um, the they were like, all right, I am gonna remember that thing I did, and then I covered it over. I'm gonna do it over here. Look at that zombie stand up underneath my bridge. That's not good. Let's use this shovel, because I'm going to square this off a little bit, and then I'm going to put in some supports here to hold back the earth along the edge of the road here. But yeah, and then meanwhile, they're like at the store shopping and questioning down the potion guy on what potions he's got and what kind of discounts they got, and arguing with the prepaid spells about how much he should be able to get his spells for, and how she owes him money now because he doesn't think he should have to pay that much, and like he does every time. And oh, and this was great. Once again, trying to get the party to pay for the wizard's spells, because he spent all his money on spells, and so he doesn't have any money left. And so then when everybody's like, well, not at me, because I refuse to help pay for his spells, because why should I pay for his spells when nobody pays for my gear? So after asking how much the spell is going to cost, and then wanting to know if everybody wants to bankroll his spell because it's going to be useful, except in the 8 months of playing the game, the guy has never cast a spell that was beneficial to someone else, ever. So I don't know why we should pay for spells that he claims are going to help other people when he's never cast a spell that would help people. Which cracks me up, because his whole goal, he said, was to make a support wizard. He didn't want to be the DPS guy, because that's cliched. And so he wanted to be the support role guy. And so he wasn't going to take any damaging spells, and it was all going to be spells that were going to help everybody up or help everybody out, and help control the battlefield by limiting the movement of the bad guys and stuff like that. So he's got a spell, or he could take a spell that would let my human be able to see in the dark, and he tells me this repeatedly. You know, I got a spell that would let you be able to see in the dark. Well, good, cast it on me, because we're going into a cave, and it'd be nice to be able to see. Well, you know, if I do that, then I can't use that spell slot for other things. Okay, fine, I will continue throwing a torch every 30 feet as we work our way through the dungeon. Oop, don't leave that open, the sheep will escape. And then, oh crap. Who is shooting me? I seriously don't see the skeleton who's shooting me, and there's a creeper in my house. Where are you? Oh, you're hiding behind the wall. See that? He was ducking behind the wall. Where is this creeper? And so it's like the other day, he was going over all the spells he could take with me. And, and one of the spells he could take is called Haste. which would let our melee people attack one more time every turn. And he decided it wasn't worth it because it doesn't affect his spells. And so instead he grabbed another attack spell, because now he likes to open every combat with Fireball. Every combat. Whether we're trying to be stealthy or not, every combat opens up with Fireball. And when we fought the orcs, I know I talked about this before, but when we fought the orcs, I got so irritated. We spent close to 40 minutes trying to sneak into this camp because we were told it was going to be a lot of orcs, and it turned out not to be. But we spent a lot of time trying to make sure that we weren't going to have issues sneaking into this camp with these orcs. And immediately after the fight starts, I think he got first round of attack, and he starts it off with a fireball right in the middle of the camp. Wow, so glad we stealthed our way up here to try and not have to fight everything at once. And then your answer to, I'm not going to be the DPS wizard, I'm the support guy, is fireball. Yeah. But, yeah, so we finally were moving between towns last night after probably close to an hour and 45 minutes of me waiting for town to get over. I'll admit, I spent at least 10, 15 minutes of that talking with the guard captain and the innkeeper about investing in his bar and looking at the bounty board. 10 to 15 minutes of an hour and 45. And there's only 3 of us that talk. So we finally get moving. We do camp halfway between the 2 places, and we get attacked by goblins. And so the wizard runs out and throws fireball, which kills most of the goblins. Which is weird that we were being attacked by just goblins at this point, because we're pretty high level. Well, we're level 6, because that's not high level, but compared to goblins. And so you know, that left three goblins alive, I think, at that point. And so or I left 4 goblins alive at that point. And then the ranger killed one, and then the druid killed one, and then I killed 2. And then the combat was over, and then came the huge complaint fest that they don't like combat when we're moving between cities because it seems pointless. And yet we sat around for 20 minutes while you discussed with the innkeeper about her dead husband, who has zero impact on what our party's doing or what the storyline is doing. But that's okay, but we can't have combat, which is the only thing I'm allowed to participate in, it feels like. Right. We want to do away with any combat that's not storyline combat, that's not important. Because fighting these little fights in between places just feels like it's a waste of our time. And it's taken too long to get to the storyline this way. We spent an hour and 45 minutes listening to you talk to the shopkeeper about potions and spells, and you're complaining for 1 round of combat. One round of combat happened, and that's wasting our time. Oh. And see, the problem is I know it says no D&D, no D&D is better than bad D&D. It's not all bad. And it's the gaming group that I play with every week and have for like over a year. Well, it's been over 2 years at this point, maybe 3 years at this point. 2 years probably doing this. Not D&D, just playing video games on Thursday nights with them. But this D&D stuff is driving me crazy. I don't get why it's okay for them to spend all this time doing, like, we seriously had to take out time to talk with the dog last night. I don't even remember what the point of talking to the dog was. Oh, you know what? I think they did some hunting on the way to town. That's the new thing. That just started. They spend 10 minutes, at least 15 minutes, hunting for food on the way to the next town, but combat takes up too much time. We have rations. We buy them. I have 10 of them on my character sheet. We stock up when we get to town. We have food. We don't need to hunt for more food. We don't need to draw out what I'm cooking for dinner because my character's the cook. We don't need to draw out the fact that we plan up camp. We don't need a detailed explanation of everything we do when we're taking our sleep. But you draw this out, the combat's the part you don't like. And I can only assume it's the combat they don't like because it forces them to take turns so that other people get to do things. That might not be true, but it feels like it. I know they had a huge fight here a couple weeks ago. It was a lot of fun. We fought. Well, the orcs were okay. They were a little weak. There weren't enough of them. Was the problem? There weren't enough of them. When you're a party of 4 plus an NPC, and you're long rested, all your spells, all your abilities, and then you fight against a half dozen guys that equal the challenge rating you're supposed to be facing, you're technically a higher challenge rating than what you normally are if you don't have to worry about saving your stuff till later. And after the first couple rounds of combat, we were basically down to one-on-one combat, which they're not the same challenge rating as one of us. I just had a huge chat out with my DM about ways to improve camping and all that stuff. Like maybe instead of, dragging out the camping process, we change it to I don't have any on me. We change it to just saying we camped. We just assume our order of watches, and then we have one roll off for it. Call it good. Man, if there wasn't water, I think I'm actually going to dig out underneath of this dirt I'm placing down so I can get all this gravel. Well, I think I am going to go ahead and call it here. I know I still need to get on the bridge, and and I keep hoping we're going to get closer and closer to being able to get into town, but, my days get busy. I didn't even talk about it, but I was driving down the road and my muffler fell off, and so that ate up one of my afternoons. Was trying to get my car to the point where I could drive it to my mechanic, which was very loud, and and so my mechanic is like a half hour away, and so then you're over an hour with the mechanic just dropping off the car, and then another hour the next day, and I don't have a lot of free time for stuff like that. Uh, and and then I wasn't involved in anything, but the police came and questioned me if I was aware of things that happened yesterday with some event. I don't even know what was going on. They asked if I was aware of it, but that still takes out time of my day in the middle of my work day, actually, to have to answer police questions about, were you aware? I'm like, no, I've been at work all day with a headset on. I wasn't even aware you guys were here until I came to get lunch. Well, I'm going to need you to wait here for a few minutes, and I might have some more questions for you. Oh, great. So let's just go ahead and push out the length of my day at work, because you might have more questions for the guy who doesn't know what's going on. But yeah, and then he never came back. He never came back to talk to me. That was just like, yeah. Were you aware? I'm like, no, I've been working. Well, just stay here and I'll have more questions for you. And then I see his car leave about 20 minutes later, and then I asked somebody else. I'm like, is he coming back? He told me to wait here so he could. Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and make my lunch and go back to work at this point. Yeah, and they never came back to talk to me again. Like, he didn't tell me I could go back to work, and if he needed me, he questioned me. He told me to wait in the same room I was already in. So I don't know. I don't know what they wanted, but they didn't want me. All right. Well, dang it, water. Where did you come from? With that, I'm going to call it a day. So click like if you like, subscribe, be sure and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.